Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. On today's show, we're going to interview Paul Teutul Sr. He was the founder of Orange County Choppers and the star of a great reality show on Discovery called American Chopper. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. I'd also like to tell you about HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities, so check them out. It's something you can buy for yourself or as a gift for someone you love. Give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's say hello to Paul Teutul Sr. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the John Ark Show. How are you today, sir?
How you doing?
Good. So, Paul, I want to start out by congratulating you. I've started a number of businesses over the years, and because of that, I know how difficult it is to start a business. When I first started watching American Choppers, one of the things that I loved about the show was that you revealed just how difficult it is to start and grow a family business. And I think that's important for people to see. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
So what did you do before you got into the chopper business, and how difficult was it for you to start your own chopper company?
Well, I started my steel fabricating shop in 1973, and I did that for 30 years. And in actuality, the bike business I didn't really start a bike business until the later part of the 90s. And it was going to be just a small business that because it was kind of a hobby for me. And then I got a call from Discovery, and that changed my life and everybody's life around it.
Now, were you also metal fabricating in your steel business, just the way you guys tend to metal fabricate your choppers?
Well, kind of. We did like wrought iron, different miscellaneous stuff. So we didn't only do structural steel, which is the big beams. We did a lot of miscellaneous stuff. Not the same as bikes, but we had a bend pipe and do ornamental stuff. So it was a little bit different than your normal steel shop.
Right. Now, how hard was it for you to go out and find your first chopper customer? Because, getting your first customer in any business can be difficult. So how did you pull that off?
What I did was when I built my first, I'm kind of an old school bike, so I mostly built the older school, the older model bikes, and I never really messed with the newer stuff. And then one day somebody said to me that I couldn't do that, and they were not interested in the older style bikes. So I went down to my garage and I built this Softail, which is the late style motorcycles, and I wound up going to a show with it, and it was kind of like a showstopper. And then people started coming to me for that particular style of bike. So that's kind of how I got my first bike build in the later 90s.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I took my dad's motorcycle out for a ride, and I just loved it. But one of the things I notice these days is there are an awful lot of people texting while they're driving. Does that make your life as a biker difficult?
It really does. It really does. I mean, back in the 70s, well, I guess there was fewer cars, but people didn't have phones, and they paid attention more. Today, nobody pays attention. Everybody either tailgates or they pull out in front of you. And like you said, they're constantly on their phone, and they have no respect for motorcycles anymore.
Yeah,
it's tough out there.
Yeah, it is. I feel sorry for anybody who's driving a motorcycle in heavy traffic, because I can just imagine what's going on there. So it seems like your company, Orange County Choppers, grew really quickly. Was that the case, or did it just seem that way on the TV show?
No, it was an overnight success. I mean, once we did a pilot, it got the highest ratings on cable TV that night. And then they decided to do a series with us. And after the first show of the series, it just blew up. It was, it was overwhelming. And, the hardest thing was to be able to control the influx because, in the steel business, you're always out looking for it. When that exploded like that, it like a dam opened up, and people were constantly wanting a part of what we were doing.
I have a theory, and tell me if you agree. My theory is that one of the many reasons your show was so popular was that Americans were just sick of seeing factories shipped overseas, and they longed for the days when Americans actually built something. So to see you guys actually building something, it struck a real emotional chord with people. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're an American-made company, and even in my steel shop, I only bought American-made steel. So yeah, I think that I think it's refreshing for people to see stuff made in your own country.
Right, right, right. So as a producer, I've never smoked or drank in my entire life. I've never even been drunk, and I've always been into health, and I've loved lifting weights. Do you still work out? And if so, how often? What are your workouts like these days?
Yeah, I still work out. I try to get at least 3 days a week in. I do a lot of upper body. I don't do a lot of cardio anymore. And I kind of, just until recently, did I start lifting heavy again, because I lifted many years heavy and competed. And then, it kind of takes a toll on your body. So I backed off that for probably 10, 15 years. And now I'm working to compete again.
Yeah. Well, let me give you some unsolicited advice. I know a lot of people and a lot of celebrities who start lifting heavy, and then 10 years later, they're getting a joint or a hip replacement because of it. And I don't know if you saw that documentary on Netflix, but there's a documentary on Netflix where they talk about how these prosthetic joints that they insert in your body start to grind against each other. And then metal shavings from that grinding migrate throughout the rest of your body. And within a few years, they're gone. I know two people who have died within a few years of getting those replacements. So, that lifting really heavy is a challenging thing. So you gotta keep an eye on it. But anyways, I saw a video of you recently on social media doing 22 push-ups to honor the 22 veterans out there who commit suicide every day. And this number still stuns me every time I hear it. I've got to imagine that the veteran community are huge fans of your family and your company. What do you think?
No, absolutely. We've been supporting, our military for quite some time, and we've probably built 10 or 15 bikes to support our military. So yeah, we've been very involved for a long time, even before the show.
Yeah, I think it's a natural fit for your, for the chopper business and for the Roadhouse, which we'll get to in a few minutes. I think veterans will love, the restaurant. Now, have you relocated permanently to Florida, or are you still bouncing back and forth between Florida and New York?
No, I'm still bouncing back and forth for a while.
Yeah. How do you like that warm Florida weather? Does it really affect you as profoundly as it affects me when I go down there? Because I grew up in Michigan, and Michigan winters are Siberian. Sometimes you need a military tank just to get through the streets of snow. So yeah. How do you love that weather down there? Isn't it fantastic?
Well, it's just like our winters are probably close to your winters, and I'm 72 now, and I don't really I'm kind of done with the ice and the snow and the cold. So for me, spending most of the time down there is a blessing.
Yeah, yeah. So how are your sons, Paul and Mike, doing? Are either of them considering moving to Florida?
I don't think so. I think Paulie has a place in Long Island, and Mikey's has a place at his mother's house.
Gotcha. So the country got hit by a major pandemic that put thousands of businesses out of business. How difficult was it to create the OCC Roadhouse and Museum down in Clearwater, Florida, under such difficult economic conditions?
Well, listen, everything was difficult, especially for my business, because a lot of my business was retail, and that was the biggest part. And we had a restaurant there also. So when they did the pandemic, they shut down my store and the restaurant. So that affected me big time. And even moving to Florida and building a restaurant down there was difficult in the beginning, but then it kind of broke open at a perfect time. So yeah, I mean, it affects every business.
And how happy were you when Santos opened up the entire state? Wasn't that just fantastic?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He actually, that tragedy in Miami, but he was coming to our grand opening, and then that happened, and he had to take care of that business. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
So tell me about the process you went through to create the OCC Roadhouse. Did you have to find partners or investors? Have you ever owned a restaurant before? Tell me what the learning curve was.
We owned a restaurant in our shop in Newburgh one time, which was it was not a good experience because it kind of was supposed to be somebody else was supposed to run it, and that didn't work, so we kind of got stuck with it. And you have to have experience in that. So doing the venture in Florida, I have a partner, and he's done quite a few restaurants, maybe 30 or so restaurants, and he's very experienced with food and entertainment. So it's kind of like that's his part of the business, and my part is the entertainment. And then we also have a museum there, and I built the museum with my bikes, and I've saved my memorabilia for the last 20-something years. So all the walls are covered. And then I did the 9/11 wall, a separate wall, in honor of the especially the first responders. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And when people come there, a lot of people come back just to see that. And the food is excellent.
So before we go on, why don't you tell people where they can find the OCC Roadhouse and Museum?
Well, the Roadhouse is it's in Clearwater, and the good part about it, it's on 49th Street, but we're in the same complex as the Barracuda Harley Davidson
Nice
dealership. So there's constant traffic there, which is helpful to us, but also to him.
I used to work as a producer for Oprah back in the day, and at one time she owned a restaurant in Chicago. And there is a huge difference between producing television and running a restaurant. And she learned that pretty quickly. So, it's a challenging business. There's no doubt about it.
It's actually a nightmare for me. So having a partner that's very familiar with that business just makes it a lot easier for me. And that's kind of like his thing. And that's what he does well.
Yeah, having an expert partner is huge. And having a lot of willpower and professionalism and tenacity like you, that's also extremely important. So I think that combination is going to work very well for the two of you.
Thank you.
So, what kind of food do you guys serve down there? And do you ever spend any time down there interacting with customers?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. The grand opening was on the 24th, and it was a madhouse. I think it was a total of 4,500 people there, and they served like 2,500 meals. And, there was like a 3-day affair. And, I spent all 3 days there, and, I still spend time in the restaurant. They're always happy to see me there. And it helps because they want to come back because they expect me to be there. So, yeah, I'm still a huge part of that.
I think that's really good for the soul. And being loved by so many fans and customers, I think that alone is going to add 10 years to your lifespan. I really do. It's a very warm feeling. Do you guys ever bring any entertainment into the restaurant, or any music? Or I haven't been down there, so what's it like inside?
It's beautiful. It's 11,000 square feet, and it's just done. It's just done really well. A lot of thought, a lot of effort. A lot of experience. And I honestly think the museum really brings it to life. I mean, when people walk in there, it's like a real wow factor. Every wall is either covered with some type of memorabilia. I have a section for pets. I have a section for family. So it's for people to do the whole tour around that. And plus, you know, I have all the bikes there. So it's pretty interesting to see. And, you know, the accumulation of stuff over 20 years is, I had more than a 40-foot container from front to back, just with memorabilia. So it's people enjoy seeing that, and the fireman bikes there. So yeah, it's a lot to look at, and I appreciate sharing that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm guessing you have a lot of biker fans of the show and of the restaurant soon to be. And I suspect they're going to be coming down in large numbers over the years. So we have a lot of investors in our audience. Have you ever thought about franchising the Roadhouse?
Yeah, you know, we've spoke about it in the beginning. You know, it's difficult, like, you know, to get this off the ground. So mainly everything's focused on that. But we've definitely spoke about doing something like that. And I do believe that that will happen within the near future.
Well, every time we watch the news, we see restaurant owners saying how difficult it is to find employees who want to work. Are you being challenged with these same issues, or is that not really a problem down in Florida?
Well, you know, it's always a challenge, especially today. But my partner has had past restaurants, and he had good people through the years. So a lot of those people have come to the restaurant. So, you know, we had very, you know, the people that are working for us, you know, they've been doing it for years. So it's a lot easier having that. And that's what makes the restaurant, if you ask me. You have to have good waiters, you have to have good food, you need to be served on time, and we have that.
You know, there are a lot of bikers all throughout Florida, and I'm guessing that a lot of them go on road trips and road rallies in huge numbers. And I'm guessing that ending a long road rally by showing up at your restaurant is going to be the perfect ending to a road trip. So, you know, the more people I think consider that, the better. So, by the way, has Discovery reached out to you again about doing any new TV shows, reality shows?
You know, we talked about it a little bit. You know, I'm not so sure that I really want to do that again. I might. You know, there's different stations that are starting after us, but you know, I think I need a little break after 20 years. And especially with everything going on, starting a new restaurant, and you know, I have a new shop that I opened up down there. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of work in doing the show. Some people think that, you know, it's just like it's no big deal. Anybody can do that. It's not true. It entails a lot of time and a lot of work.
So you said you opened up a new shop. Is that a bike fabrication shop, or is that something else?
No, it's a bike shop. Yeah, I have one in New York, and I have one in Florida now. And right now, I'm building 3 bikes in the Florida shop.
So let me ask you a question. A while ago, you guys fabricated a bike for Will Smith, and this was a thing of beauty. It was very futuristic. You know, if a UFO had sex with a chopper, that's what this thing would look like. It was just stunning. Have you ever thought about mass producing that bike? I thought it was just a thing of beauty.
Yeah, you know what makes us unique is we build one-of-a-kind bikes, you know, and that's, you know, we tried to branch out into doing production bikes and whatnot, and it's not who we are. You know, we've done bikes for corporations around the world, and, you know, and I think people appreciate to say that there's only one of those, and that's the direction that we decided to do, and we're still kind of going in that direction.
Well, before we wrap things up, is there anything else you would like to promote?
I could do that. I mean, you know, I opened up a shop. We have a shop, and it's on the same property as the restaurant.
Okay.
And same property as Harley Davidson's show. So, you know, there's quite a few people going in and out of there. And, you know, I get to get out of the winter, which makes it even better.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, Paul, it has been a real pleasure having you on the John Ark Show. I really love seeing people start new businesses, because the one thing this economy needs more than anything right now is the creation of more jobs. I want to wish you great success with your new ventures, and thank you for being so generous with your time. You're always welcome back on the show, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.